Hello and welcome to another episode of Talking Politics here at The Hindu with me, Nistula Hebbar, where we unpack the news making the headlines in domestic politics. This week as well was extremely newsy with poll campaign, getting into a full swing in Karnataka. There were tears, there were rallies, there were big shows of strength while candidates filed nomination papers. It was also the week when Congress leader Rahul Gandhi his appeal on his conviction in a case of criminal defamation by a Surat court was not stayed by a sessions court in Surat, and it therefore complicated his legal troubles and kind of ruled out his return to parliament for some time at least. And also, the topic of this week's episode, the strange drama being played out in Maharashtra between Ajit Pawar, who's the NCP leader, the BJP Eknath Shinde government, and his own party, the NCP, and the Uddhav Thackeray Shiv Sena to kind of navigate this labyrinthine of intrigue that's happening in Maharashtra. I will need to take you step by step because that's how I went in terms of understanding what is happening. Step one, of course, is all about the events of last week that prompted all manner of speculation in Maharashtra. So what is it that happened actually that led to a lot of speculation, a lot of ink being spilled in newspaper columns about the state of the government and the opposition in Maharashtra? Well, it all started when NCP leader and nephew of NCP's Supremo Sharad Pawar, Ajit Pawar, went incommunicado on April 8th and suddenly cancelled meetings that he was supposed to be at. Now, this coincided with two top BJP leaders rushing to New Delhi. The cloak and dagger nature of the developments brought to mind the memory of, Ajit Pawar tying up with the BJP after the 2019 election when his uncle, Sharad Pawar, the Congress party and the Shiv Sena had decided to formulate the Mahavikas Aghadi and stake claim for government. Suddenly, Mr. Ajit Pawar had disappeared from the scene and kind of appeared in Raj Bhavan at an early morning swearing in of Devendra Fadnavis as Chief Minister. Now, that alliance lasted exactly 80 hours, after which Mr. Ajit Pawar gave up and he said, okay, I'm going back to NCP. There was a lot of persuasion from Mr. Sharad Pawar, etc. It's been said, which made Ajit Pawar's walk back to the NCP inevitable. Now, this was followed by news reports that Ajit Pawar this time around had met up with Union Minister Amit Shah along with former Union Minister Praful Patel and NCP leader Sunil Takkare, and that he had claimed to have support of 30 to 40 NCP MLAs in the Maharashtra Assembly, and that the talk was all about Ajit Pawar walking out of the MVA of the NCP and into the NDA camp. Well, even as speculation swirled, Ajit Pawar spoke out, quashing all of it. He said to news reporters that he was present at the MGM hospital in Kharanagar in Navi Mumbai on the said date of April 8th, and he basically went there to offer condolences to families of the deceased and to provide comfort to those affected by the heat, etc. And he said that I had no scheduled events to attend on Monday as I'm still in Mumbai. He also denied that he was considering switching parties. Now, the matter raised concerns among the constituents of the NVA, especially with Uddhav Thackeray, who is heading his own faction with Shiv Sena. He suffered a breakage, a fracture of his party, and he met with NCP leader Sharad Pawar after these speculations gained ground. The MVA, which looked rock solid till a few weeks ago, now looked a bit shaky. What with Senior Pawar not agreeing with the anti-Gautam Adani campaigner of the Congress party, which is a constituent of the MVA, and Junior Pawar flirting with the BJP. Now, what is the background for this speculation? Why is it that any credence is being given to this kind of speculation? Okay, somebody is not available, somebody has kind of gone underground. Why is it that it has to be directly connected to talk about switching of parties, walking out with 30 to 40 MLAs? Now, political watchers say that the major triggers for the speculation arise out of political exigencies facing both the BJP and Ajit Pawar. On the side of the BJP is the hanging sword of Damocles of the case regarding the disqualification of Shiv Sena MLAs who switched sides to Eknath Shinde as the party split in 2022 and led to the formation of the BJP Eknath Shinde government in Maharashtra. Now, on June 9, 2022, at the height of the Maharashtra political crisis, the Supreme Court had refused to stay the governor's direction to the 31-month-old MVA government led by Uddhav Thackeray to take the floor test. Thackeray saw that a majority of his MLAs had moved on and therefore resigned before taking the floor test. And as I said, this led to the formation of the BJP Eknath Shinde-led government in Maharashtra. Now, on August 23rd, 2022, a three-judge bench of the Supreme Court, headed by then Chief Justice N.V. Ramana, formulated several questions of law and referred the matter to a five-judge bench. This was after there were cross petitions from Shiv Sena and the Eknath Shinde-led faction. Shiv Sena saying that these MLAs need to be disqualified. They cited several points of law, including the Nabam Rebia judgment of 2016. And Eknath Shinde camp said no, and they also provided some points of law. The then Chief Justice N.V. Ramana said, okay, we put this all together and I refer this to a five-judge bench to kind of go over all these matters of law and whether whatever happened had been correct. What is the status of 16 MLAs of the Maharashtra Assembly? Then on March 16th this year, the Constitution Bench of the Supreme Court reserved its verdict on this batch of cases, which was linked to the Shiv Sena crisis in Maharashtra. This is despite the fact that the Supreme Court has already given up the name, the original name and the symbol, electoral symbol of the Shiv Sena to the Eknath Shinde camp. The Supreme Court said that we will hear the matter on points of law and we have reserved our judgment. The cases include petitions filed by members from the Thackeray and Shinde factions against each other over a host of issues. Now, the speculated wooing of Ajit Pawar by the BJP is being seen as, therefore, a preparatory exercise for saving the BJP Eknath Shinde government in case the Supreme Court verdict results in the disqualification of 16 Shiv Sena MLAs. Now, the urgency of the situation can be gauged from the fact that the verdict will definitely be out by May 15th, as Justice M.R. Shah, one of the associate judges on the Constitution Bench hearing the matter, will be retiring on that day. So, this is the BJP's logic, in the sense what political watchers are saying is the BJP's logic in terms of wooing Ajit Pawar. What is therefore Ajit Pawar in this matter? Well, supporters of the Maharashtra leader say that while he hasn't been named in several cases of graft being probed by central agencies, that could change pretty soon. Allying with the BJP is being seen as an insurance against arrest and progress in those cases. Now, the verdict is out on that one, whether this will actually happen or not. More importantly, the succession war within the NCP is also a factor. It's being said that Mr. Sharad Pawar, the senior Pawar, is keen to project his daughter, Lok Sabha MP Supriya Sule, as the leader of the party, while Ajit Pawar has been a powerful leader in his own right and kind of sees his role as being the successor. He's also supposed to be quite miffed by the fact that his own son Parth Pawar lost the 2019 Lok Sabha elections, and he feels that his son's career might have a better chance maybe in the BJP camp. Now, all this is speculation. Ajit Pawar himself has never commented on these issues except to say that he's not in talks with the BJP. I think that's an important disclosure one has to keep in mind. This is all speculation that I'm talking about. Now, whatever the truth, the Shiv Sena is looking very, very worried under the circumstances. And Rajya Sabha MP and the editor of Samna, which is the Shiv Sena mouthpiece, Sanjay Raut, basically flagged all of this in his column on April 11th, last week. And he basically quoted NCP leader Sharad Pawar as telling his own leader Uddhav Thackeray on April 11 that the NCP as a party will not ally with the BJP, but that any decision by MLAs will be in their own capacities. So basically, Sharad Pawar is saying, like, whoever I can convince, they're with us. And if anybody feels threatened by being in the opposition, wants to be on the safe side, on side of the government of the day, they have to take their own call. Now, Pawar's remarks, according to Mr. Raut, were made in reference to the families of the MLAs being targeted by central agencies at BJP's behest. Now, if Ajit Pawar switches sides, the question is whether he's doing so at the behest of his own issues or with the blessings of Pawar Sr., who is known to play a very, very long game in the decades that he has been the striding colossus of Maharashtra politics. A short history of Sharad Pawar's own pivots in politics is also instructive here. For example, in 1978, Sharad Pawar was instrumental in toppling the Vasantdada Patil-led government in Maharashtra to form his Progressive Democratic Front Pulod government with Janata Party. And basically, he also became the youngest ever Chief Minister of Maharashtra at the age of 38. In 1986, he merged his Congress Socialist with the parent Indian National Congress, or Congress I as it was called then. In 1991, he threw his hat in the ring to become Prime Minister, but he lost the race to P.V. Narasimha Rao. Then he was sent back to Maharashtra state politics, etc. Then in 1997, he unsuccessfully challenged Sitaram Kesri in the presidential elections for the Congress party. In 1999, he was expelled from the Congress along with Tariq Anwar and P.A. Sangma after raising the issue of Congress President Sonia Gandhi's foreign origins. He launched the NCP, but then immediately kind of became an ally of the Congress, not just in Maharashtra, but at the UPA government at the center from 2004 to 14. They formed multiple governments in Maharashtra and at the center, and Pawar has remained a very strong pillar of the UPA till now. In 2008, the Shiv Sena and the NCP had made a stillborn attempt to ally for the Lok Sabha polls due that year. In 2014, the BJP, after it had snapped its pre-poll alliance with Shiv Sena, one of its oldest allies, saw that it was just a little bit short. It had a minority government in the Maharashtra Assembly, and the NCP lost no time in providing support from the outside. Ultimately, of course, Shiv Sena came back to the NDA fold, but that was an important pivot from the NCP. In 2019, when it was seen that the Congress NCP were fighting a lost battle in the assembly polls, Sharad Pawar, then 79, led a brave fight back and addressed public meetings, etc., and propelled the NCP and the Congress to 54 and 44 seats, respectively. And when the Shiv Sena snapped ties with the BJP, the Mahavikas Aghadi was born, and Uddhav Thackeray came to power with the support of Pawar, and Pawar was the main glue that has held the MVA together till now. Now, all of this happened, but this is yet another chapter, as I would see, of the rather confusing web of Maharashtra politics. Maharashtra politics is a particular favorite of mine, looking at the number of episodes of Talking Politics that we have done on the state. Now, we will return to it once more when the Supreme Court verdict is out. And if you do want to catch up with what is happening as a follow-up to this episode, what has happened in terms of events and their repercussions, I will be doing another episode soon. So I would really request you to subscribe to the Hindu's YouTube channel to get notifications of such episodes in the future. But for now, this is all I have. Thank you so much for watching.